That's amazing. I'd love to be able to segue that into a little bit, maybe like a moment of vulnerability in the sense of, I don't know, tell me of a moment where you feel like in your life you've encountered those thoughts or like that conflict in your mind where you had to now step back maybe, and unfortunately you reflecting back now, you didn't make the best decision. Is has there been a moment in your life?
Oh, yeah. I can tell you, if anything, probably in there was a relationship I was once in. Her name was Elizabeth, and you know what? I didn't have this calmness, so I let the environment at the time, all that negativity, I became it. So what does that mean? This is my natural state, but until you've developed it through practice, eventually, it's like they say, you become who you surround yourself with. And unfortunately, sometimes when you're really happy, the world around you becomes negative. What I can tell you is I wasn't mature enough back then. I wasn't mature enough in with her responsibilities at the time. She had kids. I wasn't there. And I don't blame anyone. What I understand is that I wasn't at that level yet. I wasn't ready. Because at that time, the negative energy around, her life, my life, it was stronger than what I was. But with that being said, that's when I learned I need to become more. Then the next relationship in my life was Maya. And with her, she just didn't let me expand as a person. What I can say about that, she's a good human being. She's an incredible woman. But at that moment, she wasn't mature enough. And that's kind of like the way life builds you. There's a moment where you're not ready. Then there's a moment when the next person's not ready. And then you get here. And once you're here, right, you see things completely different. You, instead of looking to be with someone to complete you, is the opposite. You actually go and you complete you. Now, what I can tell you, I don't know what the future has for me. My wish is to have kids one day. My wishes are to get married one day. But what I understand is that I would never do either one at the expense of myself or that individual. Sometimes you have to have the courage to say, I'm not built for you and you're not built for me. Because sometimes two people are compromising. But if I'm not good or you're not good, then it doesn't work. Because the idea of companionship is two lives living alongside each other. And that's really what it comes down to. And like anything, it takes work. And you have to be ready, and you have to know that you have to surrender to that person. And vice versa, that person surrenders to you in the sense that you're always making decisions with that person in mind, because it's a duality where whatever you do does affect that person and vice versa. Now, if the decisions you guys are making, they're not magical and it's not leading to more magic and there's not understanding, then it's not the right fit. But if it is, then just nurture it. Take care of it. And don't stop putting effort into it. Just like your career or your life's work, you got to put effort into it daily. Relationships are the same thing. You have to put effort into them. Don't just expect it. And also be aware that not everyone communicates and expresses love the way you do. So pay attention to what they are doing. You might be the one planning the trips or picking the restaurants or, giving the cards or the flowers or what that may be. But that person might be the one who's making sure that you have great relationships with your friends. That person might be the one that makes sure that you come home to a warm meal. That person might be the one that knows that you like your shirts ironed a certain way and they might iron it. Or vice versa. You might iron their dress, it's those little things, those little details. That person might make sure that the bed's always made because they know you enjoy coming home to a homemade bed. Don't take those things for granted, because so often people take those things for granted. Because they're not getting what they expect to get. They're like, oh man, this person's not putting effort. But no, you're not paying attention. And then unfortunately, a lot of people, they only notice it when it's gone. Now it's like, oh man, the bed's not made. Oh man, there's no soap or shampoo in the shower. Oh man, like, damn, the savings is not the same because, that person was always on top of me, making sure that my savings was good. It's like little things. I think nowadays, right, people expect like that, and they think that it's these external things that matter. But really, it's about the internal. It's like, what do people do for you so you can internally be at peace? Like when you've been out in this world and you had a hard day, and like you worked really hard. If someone can bring you peace, if someone can help you disconnect, what a blessing. And enjoy that. Why is it that people now think that people have to go tit for tat? It's not tit for tat. Listen, if you're giving with an expectation, then don't give. If you're gonna give, just give because you give. Don't do things because you expect this, because then now you're setting up for disappointment. So you're the one who's creating the problems to begin with. How about the idea that you're doing what you want to do, and if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Don't create a debt. Like that. And the most beautiful thing you can ever find in this world is conversation. Find a partner that you can have a real conversation with. Find a partner that is not you, but knows their life, and your life. And then it's beautiful because now you're both adding to each other. But the fact that you guys can have a conversation and build, that's everything. That you can talk about point of views, mental models, that's everything. That you can talk about scenarios, that's everything. Because that's really where it's at. If someone can articulate, if someone knows the meaning of the words that they're using, and they're using it with intention, words are powerful. Imagine that the love of your life understands the power of words and how to communicate to your heart and your spirit. Wow. Imagine. What would that feel like? Forget about what you can get me. Forget about what you could do for me. Forget about what I want. No, you kidding me? I just can't wait to talk to you. in a world where we're constantly developing others. Like, wow. To have someone to build a conversation with, to have someone that I know that every single time we have a conversation, it's like we're exploring the world brand new again. I'm discovering something new with every dialogue. I'm expanding my whole being with every word. Find someone who can express who they are. And every day will be brand new.